Madara Uchiha is widely regarded as one of the greatest villains in the Naruto franchise, celebrated for his complex personality, rich backstory, and ambitious goals. However, many fans feel that Madara's conclusion was unsatisfactory, even claiming it tarnished the series. Some argue that Madara should have been the final villain, and his abrupt downfall felt undeserving of such an iconic character. In this video, we're diving deep into why Madara's ending was not only fitting, but also the best conclusion his character could have received. We'll explore the true essence of Madara's character, his motivations, and the deeper message behind his fate, because many fans seem to have missed the point. By the end, we hope to clear up some common misconceptions and shed light on why his story played out the way it did. Before we get started, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Naruto-related content like this. With that out of the way, let's jump right into it. To understand why Madara's conclusion in Naruto works so well, we first need to explore a fundamental truth about his character. Madara viewed Zetsu as an extension of his own will. When Zetsu betrayed him, it symbolized a poetic irony. Madara, in a sense, betrayed himself. This ties into one of the series' core themes, the nature of suffering and self-awareness. In Naruto, suffering is often portrayed as an essential part of life, a necessary step toward achieving inner peace and enlightenment. Madara's downfall reflects this philosophy in a profound way. Madara's tragic story began during the Warring States period. As the eldest of 5 siblings, he endured unimaginable loss, with 3 of his brothers dying in the relentless conflict with the Senju clan. This left Madara with only his younger brother, Izuna, with whom he shared an unbreakable bond. Their connection was the emotional anchor of Madara's life. As time passed, Madara and Hashirama became the leaders of their respective clans, the Uchiha and the Senju. During this era, Madara suffered his greatest loss, Izuna, the person he cherished most. As Izuna lay dying, he entrusted his Sharingan to Madara, an act that would forever change Madara's destiny. Fueled by grief and the power of Izuna's eyes, Madara continued to wage war against the Senju. However, he ultimately lost to Hashirama. In a moment of profound friendship, Hashirama refused to kill Madara, instead proposing an alliance. This led to the creation of the Hidden Leaf Village, a sanctuary where their loved ones could finally live in peace, free from the horrors of war. But the peace was fleeting for Madara. When Hashirama was chosen as the first Hokage, Madara's distrust resurfaced. He feared that the Uchiha would be subjugated under Senju rule, igniting a deep-seated paranoia that would shape his future actions. This distrust and his inability to move past his losses set the stage for his eventual transformation into the villain we know today. Madara's journey is steeped in tragedy, and his eventual betrayal by Zetsu underscores the consequences of his own inability to trust and find peace. His story is less about the triumph of power and more about the inevitable downfall of someone consumed by their own suffering and mistrust. Madara's fall from grace was deeply influenced by his interpretation of the Uchiha Stone Tablet, a text altered by Zetsu to manipulate him. The tablet spoke of an endless cycle of conflict and the inevitable fate of the Uchiha and Senju, leading Madara to believe that the shinobi world was doomed to fail. To Madara, Konoha became a failed experiment, a fleeting hope for peace that could never overcome humanity's inherent flaws. Despite his efforts to warn both his clan and Hashirama about what he believed was inevitable, no one listened. Feeling alienated and betrayed, Madara left the village, later returning with the Nine Tails under his control. Even then, his ambitions were thwarted. After an intense battle, Hashirama defeated him, and the world believed Madara had perished. However, Madara had a trump card, Izanagi. He used this forbidden jutsu to rewrite his death, allowing him to survive and craft the foundation for his ultimate plan, the infinite Tsukuyomi. Madara's plan was born from his desire to escape the pain that had defined his life. By creating a dream world free of suffering, he sought to eliminate the very essence of life's struggles. Yet in doing so, he was robbing life of its meaning. Just as life is defined by death, it is also shaped by pain, adversity, and growth. Ironically, Madara himself was a product of these very struggles. His suffering, losing his siblings, his trust in Hashirama, and his sense of purpose shaped him into the man he became. The tragic flaw in Madara's philosophy lies in his denial of this truth. By attempting to create a perfect world, he ignored the fact that pain and adversity are what give life its depth and meaning. His actions were an elaborate form of escapism, a way to run from the very experiences that had defined and strengthened him. Madara's tragedy is not just that he failed to achieve his dream, but that he misunderstood the value of his own suffering. This misunderstanding became the root of his downfall, making his story both compelling and profoundly human. When Madara eradicated the pain that defined him, he effectively erased the core of his identity. In a way, this act was his ultimate self-betrayal. Despite ascending to godhood and transcending the limits of mortal existence, Madara could never shed the essence of who he was, a shinobi. Deep down, he loved the thrill of battle and embraced the pride of his warrior nature. No matter how much power he attained, he couldn't abandon the fundamental parts of himself. Even if you think Madara's ending was poorly handled, consider everything he achieved. He lived up to his own legendary hype and exceeded expectations at every turn. Madara defeated the entire Shinobi Alliance, overpowered the 5 Kage, returned from the dead, gained the power of the Sage of Six Paths, and successfully activated the infinite Tsukuyomi. His buildup wasn't wasted. He accomplished exactly what he set out to do. His journey and ultimate triumph solidified his legacy as one of the most formidable and impactful characters in Naruto. If your disappointment stems from his death, it's important to understand that Madara's demise was handled with nuance. It reflected the tragic irony of his character, a man so distrustful that he inadvertently facilitated his own betrayal. From childhood, Madara had an innate fear of being backstabbed, always wary of those behind him. This fear wasn't unfounded. His best friend Hashirama metaphorically stabbed him in the back when the village's leadership dynamics didn't align with Madara's vision. Even in his final moments, Madara expressed disbelief that someone could get behind him, both literally and figuratively. His fear of betrayal was so deeply ingrained that it influenced the very manifestation of his Susanoo, which uniquely had a second face watching his back. A perfect metaphor for his lifelong paranoia. Madara's conclusion was not just an end, but a culmination of his philosophy, fears, and achievements. While his story may not have concluded the way some fans wanted, it stayed true to his character's core. If you find his ending unsatisfying, it might stem from personal expectations rather than a flaw in his narrative. Madara's tale is a testament to the complex interplay of ambition, fear, and the human condition, making him a legendary figure not just in Naruto, but in all of anime. Madara's story reaches its peak of tragedy when Black Zetsu, the one entity he trusted, betrays him. Madara believed Zetsu was an extension of his own will, a reflection of his desires and ambitions. However, Zetsu was in reality the manifestation of Kaguya's will, manipulating Madara all along. This betrayal epitomizes one of Naruto's earliest and most profound themes, that shinobi are tools, often used for the purposes of others. Despite his godlike power and vision of a perfect world, Madara, too, was reduced to a pawn in someone else's plan. It's worth noting that Madara's death didn't occur when Black Zetsu stabbed him. That was simply the catalyst for his downfall. His true end came after the tailed beasts were forcibly extracted from his body following the battle with Kaguya. In his final moments, Madara had a poignant exchange with Hashirama. As he lay dying, he reflected on the failure of his dreams. Everything he had worked for, the peace he sought through the infinite Tsukuyomi, had crumbled, while Hashirama's vision of unity and hope continued to thrive. This realization marked a moment of introspection for Madara. He admitted that his ideals had failed and acknowledged Hashirama's as superior. Yet in this vulnerable moment, Hashirama reassured him of their bond, affirming that they were still friends despite everything. This simple yet profound acknowledgement brought a sense of closure to Madara's life. For a man defined by betrayal, loss, and ambition, dying as Hashirama's friend symbolized a return to the connection that once gave him hope. Madara's death was deeply symbolic. It encapsulated the themes of trust, ambition, and the cost of being consumed by one's own ideals. While he achieved remarkable feats and left an indelible mark on the shinobi world, his story ended with humility and reconciliation, highlighting the human side of a man often viewed as a larger-than-life figure. In his final breath, Madara wasn't a god or a villain. He was simply a man who sought peace in a flawed world. And there you have it. Madara Uchiha's story isn't just about power, ambition, or betrayal. It's a deeply layered tale of tragedy, introspection, and the human desire to find meaning in a flawed world. From his unparalleled feats to his heartbreaking end, Madara's journey embodies some of the most profound themes in Naruto. His death wasn't just a conclusion, it was the perfect reflection of his character, his struggles, and his legacy. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more deep dives into the Naruto series, make sure to leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.